You lot. I'm severely
we were just having a
underdressed.
conversation, and poor Alex got cut off.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I hit the button. That's right. Well, welcome everybody. Few changes. We don't have hats on. You know what? It's been so brutally hot here. I went and got my hair as much off as I could stand. I was like, you looking
sharp.
Yeah,
it's like 98 degrees and 80% humidity. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, I had bangs that were going and it was all unkempt. It was still unkempt, but it's short now, and so now it's. And I just, just really, I mean, why even compete? Thanks for asking. I had my second appointment last week. Had my splints taken out. I have another appointment Wednesday. I'm assuming they'll vacuum it out. It actually feels like it's working. I can breathe, which is good. I'm still kind of congested. And we see Jeremy's going to be joining us in a second when he gets all of his stuff together. So people are asking.
Well, breathing's usually pretty conducive to living, so that's.
It is, and sleeping, sleeping, and ear infections, and there's a lot of positive stuff.
Sleeping next to your wife.
Yeah. No, that's not going to happen. She hasn't slept next to me. I swore like a banshee, dude. So we haven't slept near each other in 20 years because opposite ends of the house, dude. Doors,
whatever works. Whatever works, right?
It's bad. Now things could change, right? Things could change. Hey, we've got
a hello from Chris McAllister. I don't know, Chris. Where's Chris from?
I don't know.
Tell us where you're from, Chris.
Sure. Oh.
Well, he said good day, y'all. Good day, all. So is that you? That's a
Jeremy's eyes have joined us.
That's it.
Yeah, Jeremy.
So people might be asking, what are we gonna do tonight?
Looking at those eyes. Yeah.
We're gonna just touch on a little bit on what we got going on. Then we're gonna touch a little bit on the Army Challenge that's coming up this week. We're also have another episode that's going to really explode this out with a bunch of great people. We'll talk about it, but really great contributions from folks. We're going to touch on some events that I'm going to or running, Kings of Memphis and Bug Eater. And then we got a bunch of pictures that we stole off the internet for the Blue Sea Brawl that was just recently held here. I figure it's probably worth going over because this is a weird event in comparison to other events in the Kings of War scene. It's very dissimilar. Hey, Jimmy, can't wait to see you in Memphis next month.
Yeah. And so Chris is from Florida, USA.
Awesome. Okay. Well, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. So that's what we've been doing. I think let's maybe go around the room. What have we been doing? I'll start because I have it's been a nightmare. So I have an event coming up at the end of the month. And if Rob 2 years ago had a conversation with Rob today, he would have said, hey, don't give away all that terrain. That's what he would have said. Hey, if you need 18 tables of terrain, probably don't give away half the terrain. So I'll just show you what I'm doing. So I have basically pulled out all my terrain. It's laid out all over my garage, over multiple tables, and I am giving it a fresh overview. So I'm gonna I'm touching up paint where it's worn. I'm reflocking. This is like a spring table with a brighter green flock. So I spent 3 hours a day reapplying Mod Podge and then using the static grass applicator to reapply. It's a pain in the ass, dude. Really, really big pain in the ass. But it'll look good because I haven't done it since I originally made that terrain, maybe 5-6 years ago. And it's been used 3 or 4 times a year. So it's overdue. So that's me. And then I have some miniatures I've got to paint for Tim. No, I'm actually only taking 4 hordes. Thank you very much. So in fact, we will talk about that too. I have a list that I made for Bug Eater. So, but Jeremy, what have you been up to?
Hey, what's up? How's it going, fellas?
Yeah, good.
I sent you. I have some pictures in the chat, Rob. If you want to throw those up,
sure. Let me do that right now.
I've been working on a few things. Still working on the Twilight Kin as always. I'm going to be working on them every day up until Masters this summer. Also, I got all my firefight stuff. So I got my first game of firefight in last weekend. So just starting to kind of fit with that. I did get my custom dice for the Twilight Kin. The orders in process.
I'm digging the horns. Mm-hmm. Very scary.
Yeah,
Very
so
scary.
I wanted that sort of
reminds me of Jeremy.
Yeah, elf
horny.
lady.
Horny?
Elf lady succubus. And since the army, if you've seen it, all the colors of the army are black, red, ivory, and this teal color. So I think color-wise, I'm hoping that should go.
Yeah, that's right.
well.
You took my black and red and you did it better than me.
Well, no, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yes.
you're like, that's
Hey,
not an army.
Now, Jeremy, are you going to have enough to give away your opponent?
Yeah, so I ordered a big block. The only thing is, they say Chessex says 9 weeks, and 9 weeks
Ooh.
is exactly the Wednesday before
Well, I
Masters.
think you're actually going to make it because you're not by Adepticon. If you were by Adepticon, I would say no chance.
Yeah, so I'm
Because I have
thinking that,
ordered maybe 20 times, and like usually it's 3 to 4 weeks, unless you're in the spring by Adepticon, and it's like, God help you.
yeah, so I'm
Probably
hoping I
depends
should.
where they're made, to be honest. If they're made in
They're made
China,
here like in United States.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Okay.
the thing is, they're literally made like one. From what I understand, there's like a giant tray. He puts the dice on there, and he hits the go button, and it like literally goes and inscribes and paints in the symbol. Because I mean, basically, they have a dice without one side, right? This is on the 6th side, I assume.
Yes,
And then
on the
it
6th,
engraves it and paints it in.
You're not doing a
yeah.
mix of 6 and 1s, Jeremy?
Oh no,
Oh!
no. Not going to be
Nice-
that
In,
guy.
nice
in,
joke,
in
nice
two
joke.
different colors, and then
Sure.
Yeah.
We had a
Yeah, just
podcast
be
once
able
that did
to-
that Warhammer times. It was like, come on, guys, this is dumb.
Mm.
So I'm
But you've
pretty
also
excited
had some-
about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you've also
Uh,
been super busy with your setup.
Yeah, so I did some hobby reorganizing. I'm trying to maximize my space better. This is basically what you're seeing right now. I don't have an extra room in my house, so this is my hobby space, this sort of wall area. So what I did get is I got that Husky toolbox. It's on wheels, and essentially, what I like it is the top is all my projects I'm working on that I want to have out, but that aren't actually I'm painting right now. But really, the nice thing is you can see it has a lot of thin drawers, right? And that's really what you need for hobby supplies. You don't need the deep drawers. You need multiple thin drawers. So I'm really excited about that. So I've been doing some like infrastructure, so some hobby stuff the last few days, but not as much painting. I've done some other stuff to sort of speed it
that's
up.
my stuff.
Mm.
Oh gosh, we can't look at that yet. Can't
No,
look at
no,
that
that's
yet. Sorry.
that's top secret.
Yeah, nice. Oh, you
It's
got it
top
really
secret.
well organized, Jeremy. I
Yeah.
chuck all my paints in, and I'm every time I get them out, I'm constantly re-looking for what paint.
I have like a really small version of something. It's a chintzy plastic like rolling shelf thing that's kind of like same concept. A few thin shelves and a couple deeper shelves. So that's like probably 4 times the size, which looks a lot more functional.
And what I did is in the bottom, deepest most one, I bought a project box, I guess, and in it has all these little squares. I don't have a picture of it, but in it has all these squares, and that has my cut up models to assemble. And in that, it has files, glue, everything. So then that way, when I'm putting together models, I can go into that bottom shelf, grab one box, take that box out, put models together, and then when I'm done, that box goes back in that bottom drawer. So this way, it just keeps my area cleaner, my wife happy because there isn't as much stuff just lying around everywhere.
You got a patient
Yeah, nice.
wife, man. If I lived in an apartment, she would have shot me by now.
Yeah, so I'm
That much
trying
real
to
estate
like,
taken up.
that's why I'm trying to make it as clean and organized as possible so that at least she's meeting me halfway with giving me this sort of space. So now the least I can do is try to make it at least look okay.
Well, and Tanis, that was the comment from he thinks you're rivaling Rob now.
Oh no, I can't ever. Rob is number 1. All of us are either number 2 or lower. So I'm just going maybe for that.
At some
for
point,
that
I do
number two-
need to do like a upstairs
number 2
the,
spot.
The problem is like a 2-inch crap though. It's so hard to organize. Like I was just thinking about this. I have spray paint both upstairs in the hobby room and downstairs in the garage. Like it's just everywhere. So at some point, I need to have like an epic cleaning. But
Yeah, and someone did come out like let me show you. I'll send a couple more photos of how I have it organized. So there is a method to the madness of how it's organized.
Sorry to the listeners too that keep getting a nostril shot of me. I've got the Facebook on a big screen above my computer at the moment, and I keep trying to look at it, and then I realize that you keep getting a good nostril shot.
So I have
you
one.
look so-
It's
you
like
look
a
so sharp.
surgery.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
this
Ready
is
for
this is
surgery.
the like Dexter if I'm going to be a serial killer drawer.
Yeah.
So
Tell me
this is
about
all
it.
like my knives,
So
my drills.
all you gotta do is notice right here, and that's all you get. If you want to know hardcore, you have a freaking tube cutter,
Yep,
right? For
uh-huh.
micro size stuff. I mean, if you got a tube cutter,
for the
bro,
brass tube.
you're hard.
That's for cutting.
You're
brass
hardcore.
And what the hell's
Hardcore.
the machete?
That's like
That's
a
a
hobby
razor
saw.
saw. Razor saw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hobby saw for like.
Come
bigger
on, do you
stuff.
even hobby, Matt?
My various
No.
so if you want to go to the next slide.
He hires children to do that work.
So this is
Point
the
taken.
top drawer, which is just it's sideways, but this has all like my wet palettes, all my brushes, all my foams.
Sorry.
This is the next two are great. These are my multi-base drawers.
Oh,
So
nice.
there is all like my resin basing materials, all my texture paints, all my water effects, a half kilo of Colombian Bam Bam. No, I mean that's my hobby foam clay. Extra shields, and then I know Rob will love this next drawer. This is like my drawer
The weed
dedicated
drawer?
to Rob.
Yeah.
It's the Tufts drawer. So it's
Tufts.
all my Tufts and all like my basing components, everything. And then for rocks, what I do for rocks is I put a lot of different sizes and then I put it in a bag and I shake it up. So then that way when I'm putting rocks onto a base, it's not all the same size rock. It's various different ones. But that's basically a big thing.
Before painting the rock.
Before painting it, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to paint the rocks.
Yes, exactly. See, but that's basically what main thing I've been up to is just doing a lot of hobby stuff, or organization stuff.
So Matt,
Yeah,
what about you, or Jeremy, or Alex? What's
Oh,
about
Alex,
Oh,
why
no.
don't we do Alex? He's got pictures. I don't have any pictures.
Oh
Sure.
yeah. So
Mm.
I finally got some time to I see like I'm more organized than I used to be. I'm not Jeremy organized, but these are my honor guard mounts that I had started working on.
You
Lost.
prep them for lunch.
Is this plastic or metal?
These are resin.
Is this
Mm.
okay? This one
They're
kind of like a
resin.
pig from this angle, but like they're definitely
Yeah,
wolves
it's just
down here.
yeah. There's like some weird angles, but yeah. So basically, right now they have the green stuffed saddles on them, and I had made chainmail armor for them, which I didn't like and tore off in a fit of like hobby rage. And
If you're gonna
now I
make
have to-
chainmail, why don't you try the Green Stuff World chainmail mold? They have a mold
I
that
might
you
do
can-
that. I used a blue stuff to mold the Perry knights.
even better. Why
So
make it
it's
from
all-
scratch when you can just rip somebody
all-
off?
Yeah, it's already like contoured for
Exactly.
the haunches. So I just have to I figured out how I wanted to do it after I had glued them all on to the wolves and in a way that I didn't like. So now I'm back. I dug them out of my drawers, and so I don't take them to lunch.
Are these
at
mirrors?
work. Yeah, those are the Mersha. They're the larger of the two wolves that they have. So that's most of 2 hordes and I think a couple characters. And then while I was lamenting the fact I tore off all the armor, I assembled a horde of knights.
Wait,
So-
horde 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's that like 6?
It's
12 guys
it's
is a horde.
I'm
Work in
waiting
progress?
for one more box. One more box. I'm gonna have 9 on each, so it's gonna be 18. But these are the ones I have done because I'm grouping them. So these are the ones that are mostly in white mail with no jupon, which is like the cloth on top of the armor. Those guys are going to be on the riders for the honor guard because they're going to be fancier and they're going to have the. So these ones.
But
I
you've
just have
already glued
12.
these guys down, right?
No, that's just blue tack.
Oh, okay.
The riders,
There's still time to add more guys.
Yeah, the riders and horses are just blue tack together and onto the bases. Because I had actually got out of the house to game in real life on Friday, so I was like, I'm going to bring the horde with me and test it out. It killed 2 or 3 Siegebreaker hordes, so it worked pretty well.
They didn't have any chaff to stop you from just running over them.
Not enough.
All right.
So no, it worked out pretty well. I think it's going to be a nice break because it's mostly armor and horses, which is pretty straightforward to paint. So it'll be a good break from the higher detail honor guard. So that's what I'm going to try and finish in the next couple of weeks for our current escalation league that we're doing.
Are we saving the best for last now, Matt? You got like a whole bunch of cool stuff to tell us about?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
No. So I've been doing some things. So I have been plugging away. I've got half the base coats done on my 20 odd That's David Baker. Does anyone know David?
David, yep, Ohio.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, David.
Oh, hi to you too, David.
Is that just Dave on Discord, or is that different Dave?
I don't do
I think there's
Discord.
a few
Well,
Daves on Discord.
Yeah, I haven't done Discord
Um,
lately.
But so I'm working on the 20 odd guys for the Horde to go on the bridge base, and so I'll probably have. I'm trying to get them done before June 1 hits, before the tournament. I've also been playing. I put up another battle report on the for my play by email game. So I've got about 3 of those going at once, because that's at the moment the most effective way I've got to get games in. And I'm about to put in another big order for the halflings, so I've got plenty for the whole year for the army challenge.
Excellent.
I'm gonna. What have I actually ordered? I put an order in yesterday. Like 3 lots of grenadiers, 2 generals on winged arrowlasers, a harvester, another halfling army, a couple of stalwarts battle groups, and a couple of aeronauts.
Oh wow! So you should have everything by then, right? Or
I
like
actually
a good,
just played halflings for the first time.
good supply of stuff.
So that should keep the child labor busy assembling it for me.
Yeah. How many aeronauts is that in total now? You only got 4 or 8, or how many?
No. So that'll just be 2 regiments. Well, 3 if I only went 2 to a base.
Yeah.
I think 2's a nice number. I certainly can't see myself taking more than 3 in a list.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Well, next up, guys, what we'll do is we're going to touch a little bit on the hobby challenge that starts this week. Be on the lookout for June 1st. We'll have a brand new episode, which is a week from Wednesday, or a week from 2 days from today, a week from that. We'll have an episode where each of us will have a little segment talking about our army. And we've had some good contributions. Matt Temple has sent me something. Kira Brown has sent me something. So super cool. If you want to join us, just send me a file. Tell us what you're doing. What army you doing? Why'd you pick it? What's your theme? Whatever you know. And then we're happy to include it. So just as a reminder, we're starting this. It's not really a competition. It's a friendly challenge on June 1st. It's going to be 20. So for Kings of War purposes, but it is open to everything else. I think for Kings of War, 2,100 points completed by December 31st, 2022. Minimum of 1 scoring unit per month. How easy is that? I mean, a scoring unit, pretty easy, right?
Even I can do that in theory.
Yeah. We're going to use if there's Mantic models available, we're going to use it, right?
Yep.
The
idea is Mantic Army.
Yep, exactly. And so, like, I'll give you another example. Like, even when they don't exist, like for Ember sprites, I'm actually using croc dogs and I'm going to sculpt like they're spewing fire or something. So I'm kind of shooting, 90% Mantic army. Obviously, depends on the army you play, right? And some armies would be very difficult to do this with, and I get it. And we'll just be posting every month. We'll have an episode where people are allowed to send in their update audio, an audio file with their update. Share it with the community. We'll have a post just like we did the last 4 months of our army challenge, right? And it'll be a big spectacle. Ronnie Renton's on board. Yeah, so it's gonna be awesome. If you're doing firefight, I think what we're saying is we're really looking for like 1,500 points painted, because 2,100 is crazy big for a game of firefight. So and I'm doing both. That's straight up doing both. So because I'm hardcore, and as Alex said, 1 scoring unit for Kings of War a month. You can do that in my sleep.
Yeah, we think we said though, if you're going to complete, you need to do about 300 points a month.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's based on, right?
Yeah. At a minimum, do 1 scoring unit.
Yeah, because different months you might do like 500 points, and some months you might do like 200 or something.
Depends on what you're working on. Exactly right. So just a really weird thing that's happened to me is I'm doing salamanders, and I was thinking I was doing tyrants, but now Mike Austin just thrown me in a tizzy with this whole article on the salamander page explaining that actually fire elementals are better than tyrants. So, my mind is blown, and I guess I got to go buy fire elementals. So,
in the mid-Atlantic
stuff, right?
Yeah, it's true. Well, in the mid-Atlantic and Northeast, like defense 5 is a huge difference versus defense 4 with all the shooting that's here. So,
Yeah, it's a good point. Like a lot of the hammers in the game do suffer from that defense 4, don't they?
Yeah.
But I don't know, because what have they got? CS2, but they still hit on 4s.
Yeah, they're vicious.
Yeah, I'm on Tom's thing there. I mean, I haven't read that article, but I'd need some convincing that fire elementals are a lot better than tyrants.
Yeah, I don't think they're better. I think
they both have a place.
is a big
I think they both
deal.
have a place. I think they both play. Anyways, so just to recap,
and Dylan the Scribner, Mr. Lizardman, there is saying,
I'm doing salamanders. Matt, you've always alluded to you're doing halflings. Halflings.
Yeah.
Alex is doing
ginger
orcs.
halflings.
And then I don't know. Did Jeremy ever decide what he's doing? Like, was he doing dust? What was he doing?
Yeah, I'm doing
super secret again.
No, Empire of Dust, and then Asterians for my firefight.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
And then
and I did
the new Northern Alliance Armada ships. That's tempting to do a little double.
They are pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Just don't forget.
I said to you guys in the chat, what I love about the Armada ships, the Northern Alliance, is just their simplicity.
Yeah,
you know,
they're like Viking ships
going on,
but just like they're Viking ships with a little bit of just a little extra,
little panache.
Yeah,
little panache. For those that are listening that want to participate in this, they want to be part of the show. Just remember, I need your audio clip by Sunday, May 29th to give me time to get it in the show for June 1st. And I don't care what format you send it in. I mean, just send it to me in some kind of a digital format.
Well, there's
I'll
also
figure it out.
not to like if you make some significant progress in a month, there's nothing to stop us having people on the live stream with us so they can.
No, I think we should. I think we will.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. As long as it's not Tom Manas.
No, or Bill Harbaugh. I mean, come on, this guy.
Yeah.
He only plays Kings of War 3 months a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, his Kings of War is turning up to make comments on our show. That's
it. Hey, well, live vicariously through us.
At least there's a little bit of hobby for him.
A couple things before we get to our main topic, which is the Blue Sea Brawl. Kings of Memphis, we're technically sold out. I am adding spots. Nice. I got a wait list started, so we're gonna because I know we're gonna have some drops. It's just the nature of the beast. We've got 36 paid right now, and so we're gonna add probably 2 or 4 more spots. And so if you are interested and you have not reached out to me and you want to come, I will find a spot for you, but you got to DM me pretty quick because we're basically a month
those DMs.
We're about a month away. So and then Bug Eater, right? So Bug Eater's coming up in 2 weeks, and Tim said, "Hey, you have a list, right?" And I guess I should probably bring my list up, which is why I screwed that up. Stop screen here. Let me share my list. You guys can make fun of me like you always do. It's fine. It's fine. Doesn't hurt my feelings or anything. I'm used to it at this point. So here we go. So Bug Eater, the big thing is they give us like a model Plague Doctor or like there's a good and a bad one basically. And I'm taking the good one, which is going to have like Celestial Restoration and heal and a bunch of other crazy stuff. Like if you heal, gives you bark skin. Successful heals give you bark skin tokens. So don't blame me, blame Adam Ballard. But anyway, so it's a really similar list to what I just took and didn't do that great with. But Red Goblin Scouts, we gotta go over here. This is new Warrior Chariots with the skirmisher boots.
I hope there's a fire hose there to hose you off after every game.
Come on, man. Bust my balls. All right. And then we got 4 Hordes of Siege Breakers. Hey, but look, one thing that is significantly different is I've kind of come to the conclusion that if you're going to take less, you do got to give them a little bit of something. So I've got Strider and Pathfinder and Dwarven Ale just to give them a little extra oomph. And then the Mammoth with the big deal. And then we've got only one Warlock because mainly I'm getting another Warlock for free. By the way, I live and die by Scorched Earth now. That's my favorite thing. Conjurer staff, won't leave home without it. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know if you guys play with it much, but I love it. Berserker Bully, Kuzlo, and Madfall. I've only had one tournament with it. I end up usually hurting myself worse than my enemy, but I'll learn eventually. And then Namagrok. So that's 2,200 points, 20 unit strength, and 12 drops. So for those that were curious, that's what's coming to Bug Eater. So Pussycats.
Nice.
Yeah. I think the sooner we move on from that, the better.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm going to say something. This is the last event ogres are coming to. So one of the reasons why people say, why do you keep bringing ogres? Well, to be fair, I'm a proponent of I'm going to bring a Mantic army, right? And I have a Kings of Men army, but honestly, like it's not Mantic, and actually I have not really learned how to. I mean, I don't know. It's a counterpunching army. It doesn't really fit my style. I have not had good results, so I got to hurry up and get something else built. I mean, I have most of an undead army that probably I could add some pieces to. I've got. That's really it. That's painted, I think, in terms of other Mantic armies. Because like my orcs, my goblins, my Empire Dust, my dwarves, those are all GW, and I decided that I'd rather not. Plus, they're all individually based and stuff. I'm not messing with that. So, what events do you guys have coming up?
I don't have to play it.
It's a pussycat. You just gotta outdrop it. That's all. Just outdrop it and tie it up.
My dwarves would outdrop you. Big time.
Yeah, and then you just be like, I don't care. You got a horde of secret breakers.
To shoot my mastiffs at.
I tell you what, Billy destroyed that list, a similar list with the Mastiffs. He had like, I'm gonna say 90 shots because he had like 2 or 3 pack masters. He had like, literally like, of course, Billy, if you're watching, I'm not bitter about you putting a hill in the deployment zone, but he did.
Masters, I really need to look at them.
He just shot the piss out of me, and he had the one that gives you elite or something. I don't know. It was just like. Here comes another pack of dogs. Like,
yeah, that's one of those like hitting our live by the fours, die by the fours. That dwarf heavy mastiff army is one of those where if they just go off in the turn they unleash the hounds, you're just screwed. I mean, it can do a lot. Or you can roll and they could just absolutely shit the 100%. Bed.
100%. My favorite tactic is trying to get them on someone's hammer and just cross fingers,
and just roll the dice and just hope that maybe I'll get lucky.
And watch the person weep.
Yeah, it's terrifying though.
Yeah. Well, next up, what I did was I pulled down some. I'm gonna give a little background, and then on the Blue Sea Brawl, and then we're gonna share some pictures, and we'll just kind of. You guys maybe haven't seen some of these pictures, and we'll just do a running commentary. Huge thanks to John Blakemore for posting all these pictures. I actually didn't. Surprise! This is gonna sound crazy, but Blue Sea Brawl is held in Memphis. But I didn't make it to the event. I just too much going on this weekend with, fixing terrain and getting all kinds of stuff going on. So I didn't make it over.
Looking after your nose job.
That too. So let me add this to the stream, and then we'll kind of just run through this, and I will share. So Blue Sea Brawl was started. This is the 4th one. The previous 3, I think it was 17, 18, 19, and then it didn't run 20 or 21, and it's back for 22. So 17, 18, and 19, we ran it in one of our club mates' houses, basically. He had like this house with like this, it originally was a photography studio in the back, and it had room for 7 tables. So we ran an event with 7. We knew we could only have 7 tables, so it was like, okay, I'm like, well, if I can only run an event with 7 tables, what can I do with that? To maximize participation. Obviously, doubles is where it's at, right? If you want to get 28 players onto 7 tables, that's how you do it, right? So, and it's been 2 1,000 point armies against 2 other 1,000 point armies, and then there's usually some kind of special character or some kind of upgrade you give that allows like some synergy, right? And also like just think, in this event we had Ratkin players giving rally to with their ogre teammates. I mean, like there's some really crazy rules breaking stuff that can happen in this event, which is why. If you go into it thinking you're just going to win, there's some really crazy combinations that some of these guys and girls were able to come up with. But in this time, rather than our club mates' home, it was actually at Meddlesome Brewery here in Memphis. So you can see Devlin here standing in front of some tanks. One of the interesting things, I don't know if you guys have this, but because of the size of the capacity of the event, typically local club players don't get to play. So it's kind of a weird dynamic. Like we have this great event, but the guys in the club can't play because there's no room. Does that make sense? So I don't know.
So it's too small, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's part of the impetus of why I started Kings of Memphis, because I want local people to play, but I also want the 20 other players from out of town that want to show up to play as well.
Yeah.
But anyways, so in this first one, we've got local players, but not Blue City Brawlers on the left. That's Dale Childress and his son Thompson. And then we've got local punching bag over in the blue, Brian. With I don't know this guy. He must have randomly paired him up with somebody. But Devlin is obviously drinking, and I don't know what's up with the pineapple suit. And I'd love to see you guys want to comment on this stuff. You guys in the chat, it's something, all right.
So it's a doubles event.
It's a doubles event, 2-on-2.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So
How many points?
It's 1,000 points per player, so it's 2,000
Right.
points on 2,000 points, right?
Yep.
And you can kind of I'll just kind of go through and stop, yell if we get to a picture like, oh, stop here, I want to say something. I will stop here. This is the eventual winners, Mark Cox and Ryan Smith. This is the first time Jeff Swan has not won the event.
Was he there?
Yeah, he was there. He's one of the guys.
Jeff was playing with Hank.
Right. We'll get to a picture of Hank here in a minute.
Yeah.
Whose army is that?
I don't know, but there's a lot of pumpkins in this army, and there's a whole other army where it was halflings and night stalkers from my buddy Nick. And Randy said, yeah, it is. So the whole point of this thing was, Jeremy, you've not been to a Blue City Brawl, right?
No, I have not.
So, but you get points for showing up in costume and for having a background story. And I mean, we've literally had people write songs for the event and play on guitar. Like literally, I'll post some. For those who don't believe me, I will post some videos.
Wasn't there a year where someone's story went heaps longer? Was that Billy?
Yeah, that was Billy. That was Billy. Yeah. And it just kept going, and we're like, everybody's like, but it's like you don't want to crap on someone's creativity, right? Like he put a lot of effort into it, but sometimes you're like, damn, dude, like it's 20 minutes. So I didn't have one of those hook stage right,
Yeah.
Yeah, that does happen from time to time. But let's keep rolling here and see.
Next time, Billy should go in a bluey outfit. That'd be nice.
So what you can see here is there's a couple guys here dressed in pumpkins,
theme.
And they've got Night Stalkers with a bunch of like their terror was like a giant pumpkin.
That's cool.
Really cool. This is the army that my buddy Nick said, "Hey Rob, can you just play us a game? We need some practice." And I'm like, "Well, all I have is remember the conversation we had last week, right?" Yeah. So this was the army that I like eviscerated and then like felt bad about it when his partner kind of had a meltdown. I was like, "Well, you're playing not optimized list of 1,000 halflings and 1,000 night stalkers against 2,000 points of kick you in the nuts." So, so this Facebook user brings up, so Jeff and Hank were the most Dan team. Yeah, they were, and we've got a picture here in a minute. What they mean by that? One of our local players is named Dan Kamek, and he's an eccentric individual who dresses appropriately, and this is what this was their interpretation of Dan. So
Hanks is very good. It's a very good interpretation.
Yeah,
from what I've seen, that is
they have the pelican.
The flamingos, not pelicans. Come on, now. It's not Louisiana. This is flamingos. Yeah. So I'm just gonna flip through some of these pictures here. Apologies, there's a lot of dwarf pictures because that's what John plays. So I'm sure he was from his perspective. And we'll get to another picture that has a better view of this thing here. But in this one, they gave I think you had the inspiration of one of the the brawlers, and that gave you, I think it was like an upgrade to you. I don't really know. Like I said, I got my own event to run, so I kind of let them go wild with it. But in this case, this is Chris Goad, who is, and this is also a Halflings army from Felix. But yeah, let's just keep rolling here.
Oh, nice.
So you can see this is a really cool army that I was talking about. So these are his butchers, and then this is his terror over here, and he's got bloodworms, and then he's got halflings. But the halflings are all it's really cool. It's all in a pumpkin farm. Now I do think he missed an opportunity on his aeronauts or whatever they're called. He should have made them like the Green Goblin, and he should have
throwing pumpkin bombs.
Yeah, he missed an opportunity there.
Yeah.
But other than that, he kicked. That was the best army there. They won.
It's never too late.
Players'
never
choice.
too late.
Upgrades.
He went 3. They went 3-2. So maybe there's some hope. Yeah. But yeah, it's.
That's Kyle. That's Kyle Poole.
Oh, Kyle Poole. Still can't figure out how to work the Facebooks, but okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just keep blasting through here some pics. This is Hank's
Oh,
army.
that's Hank's
Oh,
army,
wow.
isn't it?
Yeah. So, that's probably why Jeff lost, because Hank didn't build a new army for it.
Now this is stop here for a second. This is really interesting about this is the big tall unit is from Mark and Ryan's army.
You want me to scroll ahead to the actual? There's a picture of the whole army.
Oh yeah, because I think it's really interesting to talk about for a second.
Let's see.
But just keep in mind it's the
Try to find it here.
sure how tall the back of that one unit was. There's a very specific reason for that.
See if I can find it. See.
Oh, this is smooth. Mhm.
Yeah, so you can see all the different units. See if I can find a stupid word of that stupid. Oh, here it is. There it is. So there's the army. Can you guys see it?
No, we're still seeing the photo reel.
Oh, what the heck? All right, let's try. Remove, and then doop.
I said, yeah. Just a little interlude. That's what I said. I said, yeah.
There it is.
Okay, so all the units
Oh,
are built into the display board, but not only having the place for them to fit, but also they're built into the display board with a height mechanic. So like that unit in the upper left, that Dracons, the reason why the back of it was so high is that you pick that unit up and remove it out of the display board. And part of
It's height 4.
Yeah, part of its
Or whatever,
display
yeah.
of the base is going all the way down to the bottom of the display board. So it's taking that idea of the units fitting into your display board to like the next level, that they're also the units themselves are creating the height required for them to fit in the display board. But yeah. It's a really cool. Mark and Ryan played this army at Living Legends. It's a very pretty army.
That's taking display board wankers to the next level, isn't it? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Looks fantastic.
It does that. So let's just scroll some more pictures. This looks like from the first day. You can see the.
It looks like, is that David Sweat? Kyle Poole played.
Oh,
with?
here, David Sweat. Yeah, that's Kyle's partner. Then we got the Joneses out of Atlanta. We got the pumpkin guys. The funny that there's like 4 or 5. Not 4, but 3 or 4 guys. I don't know who they are. So that's cool. That means that we're at a point now where I don't know everybody. So yeah, super cool. You can see the actual Dan Kamek back here. Not dressed as comfortably as I don't see Jeff Swan in this picture, so I don't know.
As evil Dan Kamek with like the goatee or the
like in Star Trek.
Alternate reality Dan Kamek.
Yeah. This is the boogeyman. For those that don't know, this is Jeff O'Neill.
Jeff
came in second, and I'm sure we have.
So he can be beaten.
Well, when he's playing with someone else.
Well, and they were actually undefeated, but lost to overall on soft scores. I believe. So
I still don't
first in battle.
I still don't like. I'll be honest with you. The whole Blue Sea Brawl scoring thing is a little wonky, so we'll just leave it at that.
But Sons of Vulcan, so Jeff O'Neill was playing with Nate Clevenger, super rough. I mean, there were some really high caliber teams.
This is Brant Day from I think they're from either Georgia or Southern Alabama, somewhere in there. They're Southeastern boys. So this is a picture of. So I think Jeff was running like a very mounted Goblin army, and then Nathan had Night Stalkers, which he's been running for a while.
Yeah.
And here's some awards. I don't know what they won, but there's Jeff Swan and Hank Gouge. And
who's that in the banana?
That is Chris Gibney. Chris Gibney. So he's the one that owned the place that we used to hold Blue Sea Brawl at. We've got some more pictures like that coming, I'm sure. Yeah. It's the only place where you're going to win an award and get flipped off by a banana. That's just.
Is that the Joneses right there?
It is. And if you haven't seen her army, it's freaking amazing.
Is that the one with the LEDs?
Yes, it's the LED army.
Yeah. Swan and Gouge in the chat here. They remind. Yeah, they won best painted, and then the Pumpkin Army won player's choice.
That were doing the kind of the fluff based stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best painted at Blue Sea Brawl has a theme section, so it's painting, modeling, and theme, and they're all worth a third of the hobby score. So if you, depending on if you pick units that support your theme, that it's a positive thing. So as I was saying, this is a real fun little note. Have you seen this goad? And so this is obviously Felix's army. He did a great job. It looks wonderful.
Yeah, he's been working on that for a while. That Halflings
really
army
good.
on After Dark. Yeah, it looks great, Felix.
Yeah, so brings up a good point. When her models are killed, she turns off the LEDs. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You
Powering
failed me.
down.
Power off.
Exactly.
Nice.
I did also show you. I don't think I pointed it out, but Hank Gouge actually has computer bases, like where they make sounds, like they can make a charging sound, and then they have like the ability to keep wounds or damage in the back, and actually tell you the nerve rolls and everything. Like there's like a little board inside, and
wow.
it's got a lot of, and there's a little speaker, and he can play like a song when he's charging. It's pretty dope. We have an episode with him from Living Legends. I don't know, Jeremy, what year that was, but we have a whole and a video, I think.
I think that had to be 2019 because it was right before it was the last Living Legends before COVID, I believe. So 2019 or 2018.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Well, there was also an episode where he came on, I think, with someone else, and he talked
resin
he talked
printing.
about.
He was on the resin, the resin
and
printer.
talked about painting and mental health and things for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't have final
cool.
results, but I don't know. So this over here, I can just tell this is my buddy the Mountain, who, so the Mountain played with Felix. I don't know the last time, but I will say improvement. The last time the Mountain played with Felix, the Mountain showed up with unpainted models, which at a hobby event does not help. Yeah. But you know what? To his credit, those models are painted. Now, I think they were a bunch of hunters and they got shot off the table, but hey, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge?
That's what happens.
You can
painted
just
minis.
see it over here. You can just see the speaker right here, and there's like a little a USB port right here. Hard to see, but it's there. And where else are you gonna get hugged by bacon? Right?
Mm. Just had meat put all over it.
That's it.
Yeah, some nice looking armies for sure.
That's really great.
You have to honestly it's definitely there's a lot of peer pressure to bring your A game, to the point where people are going to take suboptimal armies just to make sure they got the coolest looking stuff.
There's just one problem with that picture, Rob. That one before, they're not siege breakers.
They probably are. I don't know.
They're probably just
I mean, they're GW guys. They don't have shields though.
Yeah.
I did hear that the trophy was like a swan because Jeff had won it so much, and then now Mark has to have Mark hates when Jeff does well, so it's now Mark has to look at a trophy designed after Jeff's likeness, so he can't even enjoy his win. He's got to have a swan trophy in his house. That's hilarious.
Right. For those who don't know, back when the Blue Sea Brawlers started 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that's how we would dress when we would go to events. Round 2, we would exit to the hallway and we would come back dressed as food.
Is that a pickle?
Yeah, so it's a hot dog with mustard, a pickle, a banana, an egg, a piece of bacon, and I was a piece of pizza. I think I had. They probably still have it. A pizza costume, and there's probably more than that. Although somebody had taco, which, yeah. Well said there. And this is the funniest picture in the bunch because I'm sure they're thinking, how the hell did we lose again? So close. We went 5-0, and Jeff's like, this trophy sucks.
Yeah, seriously.
And I these are two of the gentlemen. I don't know who these guys are. So Kyle, if you know their names, put it in the chat. Hey, Kyle, great job of getting Facebook updated. We appreciate it. And so he says he did it just for me, but I really think it was Matt's peer pressure that got it to work.
I think so too.
Everyone wants Matt's approval.
What do we think about?
I find it's the constant stream of abuse.
What do we think about holding events in non-traditional locales? Like we've seen it in breweries.
There it is.
I've seen it in churches. What do you guys think about that?
Oh,
because this isn't a brewery, obviously, which is a non-traditional venue site.
Yeah,
so
I think
is that a cool idea? Do you have to think about things that you normally wouldn't?
I think space is space, honestly.
Yeah,
is my opinion. Space is space.
Yeah.
If there's space to run it and you can run it there, just doesn't make a difference.
Well, I mean, this kind of space and our spaces like this that I've been in before, you've got unique challenges, right? Because there's trip hazards. It's not like a big open space. And from what I understand, there's no AC in this place. So And it was 90 plus degrees, brother. So I think they actually, Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody dropped for day 2 because of the heat.
Yeah, that doesn't sound pleasant.
Right. This guy's the owner of the brewery. He's a friend of Billy's, so big awesome that he opened up the brewery.
I should clarify, Jeremy, if there's a store that supports Kings of War, I think you should choose to support that store, correct?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
But if you need to have a big event and they can't support you with the numbers as well, then you find a way for them to be involved.
I've just seen in like this
just
one,
say we'll run it here, but can you be involved in this way?
Like this one, and then Jeff ran Living Legends at a brewery for a while. I'm wondering is like if running it in a unique venue like that, if it can be like an actual benefit sometimes. Like we're gonna run this like at this cool castle. I know the people who run it, and we're gonna have it. You know what I mean? On how it's good to think outside the box sometimes, because maybe you'll find a great venue that would actually add to your experience.
Well, it's kind of like what we were talking about last week or the week before about what makes you go to a tournament and why should you go to a tournament, right? It's like sometimes the venue can add a little cachet, sometimes it can just add heat stroke,
So real quick, I want to comment on this picture. You may be wondering, why is the banana flipping off these players? I think it's because these guys must have came in last, and I know Brian is not a good player, so I have confidence in him coming in last. And I recall the trophies are bananas flipping people off.
Nice.
So that's what Gibney is mimicking. He's mimicking the trophy, and you can maybe just make out, So, anyways, yeah, it's a interesting. As what Kyle said, it sounds like that. Lots of beer everywhere. Definitely in a venue that'll be better served for the winner. Best sports. So best sports is what he's saying. This is best sports. Okay. Hey, I mean, top tip for a TO. You want people to talk about your event? Post results. Like have some media coverage, man. Like your grant's not going to grow if you don't talk about it, right? I'm going like secondhand off of what John posted on Fanatic. So, yeah. But yeah, lots of beer everywhere. He says, I would imagine with being in the back of a brewery.
So if we
that might be.
Sorry, Jeremy, you go.
I was going to say, it looks like everyone had fun. I know people were excited. I heard lots of close games, lots of like fun stuff throughout the weekend. Because doubles tournaments are always really interesting. Is that you always run into combinations or synergies or whatever that you just never see outside of that environment. So I think playing in doubles is inherently fun because you see strangeness, and usually double tournaments I've found are a little bit more like on the wacky narrative side. So it's nice to go to a tournament, still have that tournament buzz and that tournament adrenaline that you're at a tournament, but they're just totally wacky, crazy experiences that they're a lot of fun, doubles tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's like you're never gonna 100% agree with your partner either.
Yeah.
So it's like you can, if you're controlling a 2,000 point army, you have a somewhat coherent plan, and then like with two minds, there's always going to be some friction. So I think it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, and that's funny you mentioned that one picture, Rob, of Nate and Jeff O'Neill at the last Living Legends. Todd and I went undefeated, but lost overall to JoJo because they had better soft scores than us. So when they announced that thing, Todd's face was like all angry, like Nate's face, and I was like, "We won something! Woo!" So it's just funny.
I'll just doubles events are great, especially for newer players, because it allows you to pair up with a more experienced player and get the feel for the tournament scene. But that being said, it's a different animal, right? And I would say, and I would argue that I don't like him in a competitive. Like you can have a competition, right? But like I don't know if they're using this as for master scoring, but I wouldn't, because it's like it's same thing with a team event. You're like, you didn't individually, if you're talking about masters where it's an individual thing, it's hard to really. What was your contribution to that team score, right? Like, and is it? Like if I'm playing with Kyle, obviously I'm riding Kyle's back, right? Like, what I mean?
Even then, like you have weird and wacky lists, and then but if you want,
but then there were some also.
That's like you can break doubles list building quite.
I tell you what, like
right?
I showed
in a way that you can't otherwise.
The first picture I showed was with Dale Childress. He had Ratkin and Ogres, and they beat the living piss out of me with my 4 Siegebreaker hordes, because it turns out when you got Siegebreakers that are rally 2, well, and a bunch of shooting backed up, they had all the rack and shooting.
Yeah.
Beat the
You
piss
just see a
out
lot
of
of
me.
crazy stuff. Like one year at Living Legends, we were playing Pat, Zorro, and Michael Percy, and they had made a tough list. But how they were deployed is Pat would point at a spot on their deployment, and then Michael would roll a dice to determine what unit they deployed there. And then
Right.
that's how they did their deployment, and they still ended up winning the tournament. But it's just those wacky, crazy stuff. You just don't see them in regular events, but
It's
you'll
fun.
see it. And I like to have a doubles, at least one doubles a year in my sort of my schedule, my tournament schedule, as you say, because it's just a nice palate cleanser event.
Well, I will say, I think with Kings of Memphis growing exponentially, that we had 22 players last year. We're going to have 40-ish this year. I think next year we're going to be positioned to actually leave the venue, leave the store, and actually Mike and I are talking. Mike Horner, the owner of the store, we're talking about maybe running a multi-system event. So if that's the case,
kind of like a convention weekend or something.
So because he had like 60 players signed up really quick for 40K. So there's definitely tabletop is in a good spot. And so I think right. So that's what I'm thinking, right? He said 64 player GT or more. But I'm also thinking if we're going to have it multi-day, multi-format, maybe we go ahead and we have like a Friday doubles event, right? And then because I know that was something we used to do at Buckeye Battles. Friday
firefight.
That could be 2. Yeah. By the way, good segue. Wednesday we have an excellent episode with Kyle Pretzel Twinkie and Tyler Schultz and Jeremy and myself talking about firefight. Stay till the end. There's some real interesting tournament chatter, competitive scene stuff that Mantic is. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it at that.
Before we wind up, does everyone know what their first unit for the challenge is going to be?
No.
What do you got, Jeremy? You're nodding away.
Well, I'm still waiting for. I'm hoping that it's going to be Revenants because I think that I don't know this, but I think the infantry is getting some redone Empire Dust or maybe Enslaved Guardians. I'll be doing my marionettes for my Asterian army, which are sort of their basic troop type. So I think I'm going to start off with some of the basic troops, either or, depending on what I do first.
Yeah. What about you, Alex?
I'll probably do Axe or Great Axe Regiment or Horde. Both.
Kyle, if you would tune in from the start, you would
He has
Allah has scolded you.
Yeah, he has no excuse. Explain to him nothing.
I actually
read the Facebook
page. Between June 1 and December 31st, 2,100 points of cow or something else Mantic.
1,500 points of
or
firefight.
1,500 points of firefight or something. At least a scoring unit a month. But if you wanted to get to 2,100 points, that's about 300 to 400 points a month. So that's the challenge, and do it, Mantic. All right, so Alex, Axe or Great Axe? Robert?
I don't know yet. My struggle is that I'm going to be honest with you. June is a bad month because I have literally like June, the first weekend of June, I'm at Bug Eater. The last weekend of June, I am running an event. And those 2 weekends in between, I have like 12 more. I got to build like 4 more tables of terrain. And I've got to I don't know. It might be a one scoring unit. It might be like
less models.
Yeah. It might be something like a Lycodon or something. Right.
Yeah, that's
that
first
month.
do a monster.
Scoring. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know yet.
I'm probably going to do a unit of Braves, I reckon, at least. And then probably I might depends, like I'll knock that out first, and then I'll either do a second unit of Braves or some other infantry, I think, because I want to lay down. I'm probably going to bulk paint some infantry first and try and break the back of some of that early on.
Yeah,
do you guys already have your lists kind of thought out what you want? Okay, good.
I'm like 75%.
I bought a bunch of models.
Think about the list later.
In the show coming out on June 1st, I like basically give people my inventory, and I'm hoping someone will build me a really fresh list.
I'm pretty much, yeah, same thing. I have like an army box and a mega army, and I'm like, I'm just gonna paint those.
Yeah,
I have like a theme. I want mine to be like skeleton based. So I want it to be more heavy into skeletons.
Empire Dust, and
Yeah.
you want it to be skeleton based. I like where you're
Yeah.
going.
Well, I
with
mean,
it.
you know, a lot of
Well,
Empire Dust.
lean
they
into
don't
it. Lean into it.
They don't use you know, they actually aren't taking just lots of skeletons.
No,
They're
they usually take
taking
the
all
monster
of
match stuff or
Oh,
chariots.
yeah. So it's going to be, I want it to be hardly any monsters besides maybe just Shobik. But other than
Yeah.
that, I want it to be
Are you gonna
more
bitch when you lose like Devlin?
infantry. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Right.
Yeah, I ragged on the Halfling Army box a bit for pigeonholing people into what they build, but the benefit is that pretty much all the infantry you will use.
And
some
they
point,
got you to buy more.
So,
So how bad could it be?
I bought more,
You bought more. So
especially because I don't have to assemble them.
yeah. I don't know.
Cheating.
My original list that I was thinking of was going to be a salamander list with no salamanders. So I don't know. Like, I mean, I had a couple things of ancients, but that was it. So I'm hoping some really smart people build me a great list. And I'll probably start with tyrants is my guess because I do like the models. Or Rhinosaur Cav. I bought 4 boxes. I'm in at that point. Right?
Rhinosaur
So you could just do a regiment of Rhinosaur Cav.
Yeah, just do a
They're
couple.
amazing chaff. Rhinosaur Cav regiments are amazing chaff.
Yeah, fearless, height 4. It's
And
faster than
they
two
hit on
models.
3s and punch super
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
So-
you can't ignore them.
Yep. Oh, look at him. He's gone into deep thought mode.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I'm just like, again, I mean, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm just gonna let the audience decide what I do, and I'll just paint it. I just want to have as long as it doesn't play like
in that
ogres.
case, first month, a horde of salamanders.
Yeah, horde of
Everyone
ceremonial
vote for
guard.
a horde of salamanders.
Horde
Well, you
of
know what?
ceremonial
I do
guard.
like the ceremonial guard. Not on paper, but I like the way they look. I could be tempted to pay me a horde
Oh,
of.
they're good. Ceremonial guard is
They're
legit.
very
Come
good.
on,
Really
Phalanx-
good.
Phalanx sucks
Really
balls.
good.
That
All-
unit is
all
so hard
phalanx-
to move, man. It's the
No, this
defense
is it.
5.
Defense 5 phalanx is
With
different
phalanx.
than the
Man,
normal
it is
phalanx.
good.
Oh.
Having played against it a couple of times.
Yeah,
it
it's
is
the fact
like
that it's
you hit
defense
it
5 and you
and
have
every
access
time, and
to
you're like,
heal.
oh yeah, I'm going to go.
And
through
they're
this,
base
and you're like,
CS1, right? So it's a
Yeah.
big deal.
No, yeah,
Okay,
that
you guys
unit
may
was
have
Brew of
turned
Strength.
me, and I do have a start because I got the small army box, which comes with 10. So now I just need 30 more, or
Yeah.
actually just 2 more if I was Alex.
If you had enough terrain to your bases, 25 is plenty.
I am.
Sure.
What
I
are you guys
actually agree
doing?
with that, but that's a story for another day.
Well, what I was going to ask you guys real quick, what are you guys thinking about in terms of model count? I am trying to go preferred
I'm gonna
model
do
count
PMC
where I
PMC.
can.
I try to go
Yep.
PMC unless it physically just won't fit. If
Yeah.
it won't fit,
Like
then I
ogre
try to-
chariots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then I try to go as much above minimum model count as will fit, basically.
Yeah, with my Dragon Empire, I'm deviating from that a little bit on the more scenic basis, but most of the time now I try to build PMC because I believe that like we should
It
be
looks
buying
better.
more models.
I think it just looks
And it
better.
looks
Yeah.
better.
Looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
an army.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buy models. That's the lesson of the day.
Well, you know what? It's interesting.
Buy
I've been
more models.
been listening to a podcast from the guy who did Horizon Event Horizon. I don't know. The name of the podcast is Precinct Omega. He's a independent rules designer, and he has a lot of really interesting discussions where it's just him monologuing. And one of them that he brings up is that these companies are, they're not rules companies. They're model companies. They're here to sell. The rules are just there to sell you models, right? And he brought up a really interesting point. I think now this was a ways back, but now with the release of Overdrive coming out without Kickstarter, you could argue from a tabletop model combat game. I mean, you got GW, and then who's next in line? Mantic's got to be one of the people to consider because they're pumping stuff right to retail now. They're not doing the whole Kickstarter thing like Cool Mini or not, and the rest of the people that don't need to do it. So, all right, I know we're just about at time. Does anybody have any final thoughts?
Love you all.
Yeah, pretty much. Makes
Looking
sense.
forward to the challenge.
Yeah, it's gonna
Me
be
too.
super fun.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
super
really
pumped.
looking forward to it. I can't wait to paint my pink.
We need to get a trophy for the host with the best army. Like it could be like maybe best painted or most like the army that wins the most. I don't know. We'll have to, go ahead, Jim.
I do have to say, I have the month of July off of work, so
Those goddamn government
look at
workers.
him.
Government
I'm
workers,
taking
man.
a mini
Yeah.
sabbatical, which in fact, if you knew my last year of job history, you know that I would I've earned this. So
I don't think anyone wants to be a
Matt.
social worker in the pandemic, man. Like,
Yeah, it was tough.
honestly.
It was
Yeah,
I've been essential since day one of March 1st, 2020. I haven't had any time off really. So after dark, Australia, we're going to be doing I'm going to be painting during the day, US time, a bunch. So I know we have some guys on in the evenings, but if anyone that can't do after dark during the normal time, but wants to do it during the day, all of July, I'm going to be painting every day, 8 hours a day, like super, just it's going to be glorious. So hit me up in July if anyone wants after dark at weird times.
Yeah, and I don't typically do after dark. I typically like to just like zone out and just.
he's too elite.
Well,
but I
that's
get
true.
it. Sometimes you just
I'm
like
a
to watch
gatekeeper.
TV.
But for this,
TV
I'm
and
changing my
whatever.
rules. I'm even
Yeah.
gonna I'll even
But
get
that's
on
not what he
Discord with
says,
you.
Jeremy. He's like, I don't want to mix with riffraff.
Oh.
That's fair.
But yet you're
He's
here.
telling
Well,
to us
there's a
all the
lot.
time. He's like,
There are a
riffraff,
lot.
don't
There's a
like
lot of
people.
Aussies on After Dark.
Though
and
he
you
may
just
be
gotta-
gruff on the outside, Rob
what?
does have a juicy center.
I do, and you know I've been watching lots of like Australian slang videos on YouTube, so that's been very helpful. So now I'm preparing myself to get in there.
I thought you were conversing with me better.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Well
mate.
done, mate.
I'm learning. So, well, awesome. You know, a couple things we didn't have time to talk about. I have been playing with the War Score tabletop score software. We'll save it to next week. It's amazing. We're still working out some design features, but it's going to be the real deal once it's ready for prime time. So, somebody, one of y'all want to take us out?
Oh well, I've just got one more thought. Carpool, tune in from the start next time.
Yeah.
You've been told.
Yeah, take some of that tile money and go buy some real models.
Wow. Shots fired.
No, it's the Canadian that shooting you shots though, because they don't have guns up
Yeah.
there. But you know,
They're taking
Sorry,
them away.
Blanks.
Yeah.
And I love you. P.S. I love you.
Go paint a dinosaur.
I
Simple
still
answer
love
from
you.
Kyle.
awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Until next time, you know what to do.
Keep counter charging.